Greetings. My name is Ben, aka Downsize and just wanted to give you guys some channel updates. I hope that everything has been going well for y'all the past couple weeks, especially around this time in the United States. This is a holiday period for where we celebrate Christmas, and then I believe Hanukkah is earlier in the month, but it's a celebration time where people will take off in December 25th. And for anyone around the world that also celebrates around this time, I'm not sure what y'all celebrate. It might be Christmas, it might be other holidays for other purposes. I'm hoping you're having the opportunity to spend time with family and friends and relaxing, etc. Which is what I've been doing. As you guys have probably noticed, it's been kind of light on the channel for the past few weeks. There's a reason for that, the main one being I have just been procrastinating heavily. Ever since I got back from the Texas Championship, a game I've been looking forward to came out on Steam, Warhammer Rogue Trader, and man, I have been into that a lot. I've been spending so many hours in that. Such a good game. I love CRPGs, and it's a really good one. Anyway, that's what I'm spending a lot of my time on. And I do know that there are some videos from the Texas Championship that y'all have probably been waiting on. Overall, I didn't do too well, which is kind of another reason why I've been procrastinating. I really didn't want to go back and revisit. But I think I might just put those out just like pretty low-key, low editing, maybe this week and the next, just kind of get them out. And not a lot of commentary, but for those that might be interested in seeing how I did and learning from my mistakes, basically. So, but anyway, that's just going to be some low-key stuff. But the main thing I wanted to do was talk to you guys about a big event coming up in January, which you already know about, which is the 3-year anniversary. And the Battle of Endor version 2 that we're going to be doing with more people this time. It's not just going to be me and Rob. And I want everybody to please remember that we have an absolutely fucking phenomenal giveaway for this anniversary from Garrett Vance. It's going to be his tournament set kit that he puts together for Armada. Huge value, along with the bag and some foam with rulers and the template tray for the rulers. So much stuff. Basically a $600 value for this giveaway that's going to be going up past the anniversary date, up to January 14th. And how you enter is any video from September 1st all the way up until January 11th, which will be the last video of this giveaway, because that'll be the actual date of the 3-year anniversary when I'm going to be dropping the Battle of Endor version 2. And those will be all the videos that will be eligible to comment on. So if you subscribe to my channel, and for every comment, for every video that you comment on, gives you an additional chance to win. So the more videos you comment on in that time frame, gives you more chances to win this amazing giveaway. And I'll be announcing the giveaway on a live stream on January 14th, which is a Sunday, and it'll be my first time announcing live the winner. And I'm going to try to have multiple people on as like guest commentators or just interviewees or whatever. That's not all put together yet, but it's going to be kind of casual and informal, but I want to try to get Garrett on, Social General Rob on, maybe Buster on, maybe some more people on. But anyway, I'll talk about some more of my ideas for that day near the end of this video. But what I want to talk about now is some of the details for the Battle of Endor. We're going to be filming it on January 6th. Obviously, it's not going to be a live stream film. But that's when we're going to film it. It's going to be a long day. Going to take all day to do it. I'm going to film it, and then I'm going to edit, compile it, put it all together, and have it out and ready to go by January 11th. So I just want to kind of go over the rules and the teams, by the way. So, first off, I won't be playing. I'm going to be the game master, basically managing the game, managing some external factors that are out of the player's control, and that way I can also focus on filming, to try to maybe get, so I don't have to be as stressed out trying to get the shots and everything, while also trying to think about strategy and playing. So, I'm just going to be game mastering, and then the teams are going to be Buster and Ares on the Empire, and Social General Rob and Bodhi on the Rebels. And let's go over the rules real quick for what they're these are the rules I just came up with, and that they have to build their fleets to, and how the game is going to be played. So we're just going to look at this Word document here. I know it's not as good as me putting graphics up. I might actually change this when I edit it, but just for ease, let me zoom in here so you guys can see a little bit better the wording in a Word document. So Battle of Endor rules. All right, there we go. All right, so for Imperial lists, so both lists are going to be 2,000 points. So 4,000 points total on the board. But 2,000 per side is going to be tons of ships and squadrons on the board. For the Empire, their commander has to be Admiral Piet. They have to bring an Executor to SSD with the Executor title with Piet on it. And then they also have to have an Interdictor with the Interdictor title. So one thing that we did with the first Battle of Endor and we're doing with this one is having Interdictors there. It wasn't shown in the movie, but in the literature, the Interdictors were there, and that's why it was a trap. That's why the rebels couldn't escape. They were being locked in by Interdictors. The next part is some people they can't use. They can't use Vader or Palpatine. They're on the Death Star. Can't use also, he's dead. Nita, he's dead. Price is dead. Or anyone else that's dead. I think I caught most everybody as far as restrictions are concerned of who you can and can't bring. They cannot use onagers. Onagers were not developed yet, and they also were not at the Battle of Endor. For sure we're at the Battle of Endor. I don't want to introduce that to it. And as far as their squads, they can only use TIE fighters, interceptors, or bombers, but they can also use uniques of those if they want. So no phantoms, no defenders, etc. So it's basically, the basics for the Empire and squads. Now for their special rules. So both sides have put in some restrictions, but there's also going to be some, potential boons for each side as well. So Imperials are restrictions. Basically, they can't nav. Piet was an idiot, and his deployment of formation, tight formation, low maneuverability was to their downfall. So to simulate that, they can only go forward speed 1. Straight 1. No turning, nothing. Whatsoever. So basically the nav dial is negated. They can't do nav commands as the Empire. Their squad command distance, however, is the entire board. You don't have to worry about measuring, is it medium range? Do we need boosted comms? No. Every Imperial ship can command any Imperial squad anywhere on the board. It's basically a massive command network they have going on this ambush. So no distance requirements for commanding Imperial squads. This one is slightly modified, but I'm going to be largely defining their deployment, like their formation they were in. I slightly adjusted this after talking with Buster. I'm going to basically deploy the Executor and the Interdictor, and then anything else that they bring, ships and squadrons, they'll be free to deploy how they wish on the board. So another boon that the Empire is getting is that their generic TIE fighters, interceptors, and bombers will be able to respawn an unlimited amount of times, similar to reserve hangar decks, which basically means is that there's going to be an endless, basically to simulate the endless swarm of fighters and bombers that the Empire had. They're just going to keep coming. The rebels will never be able to kill all the fighters. They'll just always keep coming. And these numbers you see here I put down is basically the number of squads that a certain ship can bring back when a squadron dies per round. So like an Executor, every round can bring 4 squadrons back of generic fighter, interceptor, bomber. Imperial 2s can bring 1. Imperial 1s can bring 2. Quasars can bring 2. Although I don't know if they're going to be bringing any Quasars. Quasars really weren't there, but I'm not saying Quasars can't be there. And if they want to bring Kuats or Simoons, they can't bring any squads back. But this is going to simulate where just constant swarm of fighters coming. I mean, really the only way to stop it is to destroy the Imperial ships that are respawning the fighters. Alright, so now for Rebel list rules, same thing, 2,000 points. The commander has to be Admiral Akbar on an MC-80 command cruiser with the Home 1 title and Akbar on it. They cannot bring Luke, Leia, Han, Biggs, Jyn, or Kanan, because half of those are dead, and the other half are on Endor or up on the Death Star, so they cannot be part of the actual battle. some things they have to have Lando and Wedge as squadrons. I'll get to this later in the actual general game rules, but they must have Lando and Wedge to win the game for the Rebels. If Lando or Wedge as squadrons die, then the Rebels cannot get a total victory. The best they can hope for is a Pyrrhic victory. They also cannot use E-Wings. E-Wings were not developed yet. However, they can, any other squads they want, they can bring. They can bring, rogues, Skurrigs, Lancers, whatever. But it's mainly E-Wings, although it's not really shown in the game of Armada, but E-Wings were supposed to be like the elite fighter craft that the New Republic developed after Endor. I was a little disappointed that they just did X-Wing regurgitated for the sequel trilogy. It should have been E-Wings. Anyway, that's a whole other discussion. Alright, the general game rules for the Rebels. They'll be able to see how Imperials are set up. Then they will be able to deploy as desired, distance 5 from the edge. And basically, we're playing long ways, so it's going to be like a blockade run is how we're going to deploy. So they can go up to distance 5. It's not going to be 2 range 5 rulers like a normal blockade run. They're going to be a little bit further back. And again, Lando and Wedge must survive, or a total Rebel victory is impossible. So, now, victory conditions. This is important. This is going to be a 10-round game at max. And the Rebels will have 10 rounds to destroy the Death Star for a total Rebel victory. If the Rebels destroy the Interdictor, they may choose to escape at the end of the round for a Pyrrhic Rebel victory, or any round thereafter. So let's say they destroy the Interdictor on round 4. Any round at the end of round 4 or after end of round, they can choose to escape and just achieve a Pyrrhic victory. For the Empire, they must destroy all Rebel capital ships, non-flotillas. So GR-75s are be the same thing. They can't hold the board. Anything else is considered a capital ship. And the Empire also cannot allow the Death Star to be destroyed. And then that will give them a total Imperial victory. If after 10 rounds the Death Star is not destroyed, but at least one Rebel capital ship survives, it's going to be a Pyrrhic Imperial victory because, the Death Star is not destroyed. There's still some Rebel ships on the field, but they're still trapped because the Interdictor's not dead, so eventually they'll get destroyed, just overwhelming firepower. There is a tie scenario. If all Rebel capital ships are destroyed and the Death Star also gets destroyed, it is a draw. Nobody wins in that scenario. Because the Death Star goes down, and all the Rebel command leadership is also dead. So nobody wins in that scenario. Alright, now for some general game effects, and this is what's going to make it fun and interesting. And the majority of these I will be controlling as the Game Master. So first off, the board will be played long ways, like Blockade Run. But we're going to do wider. So, basically, 2 standard 6x4 tables. I think 6x4, 6x3 like the normal tables that you can, put out and put together. We're going to play the entire width of that, not the normal 6x3. So, it'll be 6x8, I think. No, it's... Anyway. Maybe 6x6. Anyway. But you guys know what I'm talking about. It's going to be a full width. Just to give more space with all the ships we're going to have. Now, the Death Star is going to be in the game. It's not going to be on the board, but it's going to influence the battle. And this is where it's going to be, some of the stuff is going to be really tough for the Rebels. And it should be. This was an impossible situation the Rebels were in, and they should not have won Endor. It was through luck, and the Force, will of the Force, and all that stuff, which I'm going to also simulate as well. But as far as, how hard it's going to be for the Rebels, as you can see here, the Death Star, at the start of round 2, will target a Rebel capital ship, so non-flotilla, that is not at close range of an Imperial ship. I'm going to roll that randomly. And that ship, I'm not going to roll, it's just that ship is instantly destroyed. Doesn't matter what, doesn't matter shields, hull, nothing. It's just blown up. I mean, the Death Star laser, nothing can survive that firepower, according to Akbar. And any ship at distance 1 of the destroyed ship receives 3 splash damage to the closest hull zone. So you can't pick the hull zone. It's going directly to the hull zone that was facing the explosion. And any squadron at distance 1 is taking 2 splash damage. Now, I don't want to immediately cripple the Rebels right away, so Home 1 will not be targeted unless it's the only capital ship, not at close range of an Imperial ship. So that's to simulate, Lando's, we need to engage these Star Destroyers at point blank range. We won't last that long against those Star Destroyers, but we'll last a hell of a lot longer than we will against that Death Star. So if the Rebels can get into close range of the Star Destroyers, or any Rebel or Imperial ship, then the Death Star can't target them. But of course, if you're at close range of the kill box that the Empire is going to be setting up, that's also a lot of firepower you have to eat as well. But you won't be insta-destroyed from the Death Star laser. So that's going to be something the Rebels have to think about. Alright, so at the start of rounds 5, 6, and 7, the Rebels are going to be rolling a percentage dice, and they won't know the percentage they have to hit. I'm going to have it secret on a piece of paper that they have to roll equal to or under to see if the ground team has dropped the Death Star shields. And the percentage will get easier with each attempt. At the start of round 8, though, we'll just say they automatically get the shields down. That they were able to finally get it done on the ground. So, at the end of the round where the shields drop, Lando and Wedge have to be removed from the battlefield, and then the Rebels can send 2 additional generic squads to escort them. We're going to do like a little mini game. It's not going to be X-Wing. We're just going to do a little mini squad game with those squads as they make their Death Star run to fly into the Death Star and try and blow it up. And then the Imperials will also be able to select 6 generic squads to pursue them. So it could be fighters, interceptors, or bombers. They won't send bombers, but fighters or interceptors, up to 6, to pursue Lando and Wedge and their 2 escorts. Now, the turn after they leave the field, so they'll have 2 turns. It'll be during the squad phase. It'll take 2 turns to get to the core, no matter what happens. So their speed on our little mini game doesn't matter. It just matters about like positioning and escort, because escort will matter for like X-Wings to try to defend Lando and Wedge from the interceptors and fighters that are following them. And it's basically going to be Lando and Wedge surviving. This little mini squad battle is going to be happening to the side for 2 rounds. So at the end of the second round that they have left during the squad phase, they will get a chance to destroy the Death Star. And they'll make an anti-ship attack, and if hit or crit is scored, the Death Star is destroyed. And if both are alive, they may both make an attempt. And Lando's special ability will count. So if Lando's alive and he has his defense token ready and good to go, it basically means the Rebels will automatically destroy the Death Star at that point. So, yeah, it'll be key for the Rebels to keep Lando alive with a defense token to make the Death Star run, because that means, well, we're going to get it done then. If they both miss, though, the run fails and Lando and Wedge are killed, and then the Rebels cannot win a total victory. Now, another thing that's going to be affecting the battlefield, Emperor Palpatine. So this is something, again, not in the movies, but in the novelization and later books and comics, etc., was conducting battle meditation for the entire battle. Which is one of the main reasons why the battle turned so heavily when Palpatine died. You'll notice that the Rebels started, that's actually, I believe, I hope I'm remembering this correctly, the Executor wasn't destroyed, and massive damage to the Imperial fleet didn't happen until after Vader threw Palpatine down, and he stopped focusing and being able to assist with his battle meditation. So, to simulate this, the first attack against each Imperial ship every round by a Rebel ship or ace will require a defense token to be spent. So basically, a fleet-wide effect of Palpatine's officer card. But just for the first attack, for each ship, each round. So it'll mainly matter for double arcs, or like if you get attacked first as a Rebel player and you salvo back, that'll be considered your first attack. So you'd have to spend a defense token. They didn't want to be too overpowering, but still it needs to be powerful, because Palpatine was affecting the battlefield and affecting his will through the dark side of the Force on that battle. But starting at the 4th round and after, and I'm still figuring out how I'm going to do the nature of this roll-off, the Rebels and the Imperials will be making the post-test, which will get easier as the game goes along for each subsequent round, as Luke and Vader are struggling and then potentially struggling against the Emperor. But if the Rebels succeed in that post-test, it means that Luke and Vader have killed the Emperor, and then his battle meditation stops. Alright, and then lastly, for the Executor, to simulate the A-Wing that took down the Executor, if at the end of a round, so it's after the squad phase, after basically the end of the round, if all of the Executor shields are down, it has to be all hull zones, no shields anywhere, and an unengaged A-wing is at distance 1, may make a kamikaze run at the bridge, and they get to roll an anti-ship attack, and they have to score a crit. If they do, the executor is destroyed. And some clarifying things Bodhi asked, but they cannot use like Bomber Command for like Green Squadron. So it's just a straight up roll, and if the A-wing gets it, executor goes down. And also, if the executor goes down and the Death Star shields are not down yet, the executor will take down the Death Star shields as it crashes into the Death Star. That'll automatically drop the Death Star shields. All right. So, those are the rules for this epic game of the Battle of Endor for Star Wars Armada narrative. Obviously, all of these rules I just put out have nothing to do with the game. They're just narrative and special rules to make this thing interesting and to make it unique, which is one of the reasons why I'm not playing. So that way I can game master it and manage, like the ebb and flow like a game master normally does in an RPG, and for filming as well. So we're really looking forward to it. We'll probably go over the fleets for both sides day of, but we might be able to get together. I don't know, Rob and Bodhi might do a general's quarters to talk about their fleet ahead of the game. We might be able to get Buster and Ares on to talk about their fleet before we film. Otherwise, it might just be day of, and it'll be part of the video. At the beginning of the video, we'll go over our fleets. I'm not sure yet. It just depends on scheduling. All right, so the last thing I wanted to talk about for the live stream giveaway announcement on January 15th. I haven't done one of these in a long time, so I want to kind of merge this into, excuse me, an Ask Me Anything. I don't think I've even done an Ask Me Anything this year. The first year of the channel, Rob and I did several of these Ask Me Anything sessions, but want to do again for the anniversary. So how that works, on this video, in the comment section, you can ask me a question, and also anybody else. So I haven't guaranteed that they'll be on, but if you have a question for Social General Rob, or Buster, or Garrett, Admiral Tater, feel free to ask them questions, and then we will answer the questions during the live stream on January 14th. So, and then of course, commenting the questions also counts for commenting for entering the giveaway. So it's like you get 2 for the price of 1. So if you comment on this video, great, you're entered in the giveaway. But if you comment with a question, not only you're entered in for the giveaway, but also we'll read your question and answer the question. And it really is an Ask Me Anything. I can't promise I'll answer anything, depending on if any of the questions are, I don't know, risque or too personal. I don't know. I can't. We've never had anything have a problem with this. We haven't had a problem yet, but I might just decline to answer, or just to give a very generic response if there's something that's like, I don't want to answer that. But I've never had that happen. So, but really, it is an Ask Me Anything. The worst that'll happen is that I'll just say, I just don't feel comfortable answering. But again, that's never happened. But I would love to hear y'all's questions. It can be about Armada, or again, it truly is Ask Me Anything. And I'm also just want to include tangentially, because I technically haven't asked them if they're okay with this, but I'm sure they'll be fine with it. Social General Rob, Buster, Admiral Tater, who I'm hoping we can have on the live stream as well. And we'll answer your questions on January 14th during the live stream giveaway announcement. And the giveaway will be announced live at the end of the live stream. I don't know how long the live stream is going to take. Depends on how many questions we get. Depends on any other activities we might have for the live stream. It's going to be... I personally have blocked the whole day for myself. I have no idea how long it's going to be for that live stream. But at the end of the live stream, I won't even know the winner at the beginning. I'm going to wait to do the randomization. We'll do the randomization live. And announce the winner live at the end. So, really excited. It's going to be a fun event. Fun for us filming and playing on the 6th. It'll be dropping on the 11th, and then the giveaway live stream on the 14th, as I also answer your questions, and other people involved with the channel will also answer your questions too. Hopefully, again, Garrett, I apologize I haven't asked you, but if you're not okay with it, let me know. I'll reach out to you after I drop this video. But, mainly for me, Ask Me Anything, but I know Social General Rob doesn't mind, and Buster doesn't mind either. So, yeah. But anyway, I've talked enough. I hope you guys, again, have had a good holiday. New Year's coming up. Hope you have a good New Year, good celebrations. and everything as we go into 2024, and just keep chugging along on this thing called life, and doing what we can to enjoy ourselves and have a good life as well. So thank you guys for watching, and until next time, take it easy.